Well, hello and welcome to Game Time. Last week, we heard from Mr. Rob Daviau in an excellent interview. We talked a little bit about games. We talked a lot about life and even more about food. So I think it was classic. So, Mr. Daviau, how do you feel about playing a little game with us this week?
I feel good. I've had a week off.
Okay.
I'm wearing the same clothes. Drinking the same drink, and I'm ready to go.
Continuity. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I recorded what I wore and then got the lighting right and did it again. Let's go. Right. I'm all refreshed, tan, rested, and ready.
All right. Well, that's the amazing thing. And nothing moved on the shelves, which I'm impressed.
Nothing moved on the shelf?
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
It's
nothing.
all good. Hair's exactly the same.
You are a pro, sir. You are a pro.
Thank you.
I will say.
It's my specialty.
So Dan has something a little different in store. We are not playing something that you can buy in a store yet. Who knows? Maybe we'll kickstart this someday, Dan. I think we could, we could put a card in a box and sell it, right?
You're saying the day will come when we have to make a con floor pitch for our game con floor pitch?
Yeah, no, that's a little too meta for me. I'm not willing to put that much effort into it. I'm not gonna lie.
So this is one of our favorites that we play here on the show. Traditionally, we call this con floor pitch. We manage to slightly change the premise every time in order to dilute our brand a little more. So in this case, what we're going to do is make this one. We're going to assume that the Food Network has foolishly decided to branch out into board games, and the first step on this Titanic-esque adventure of theirs is going to be soliciting some game design ideas from famous game designers. So they have come to you guys, of course, Mr. Rob Daviau and the illustrious Chris Whitpan, to ask you guys for some ideas on food-based board games. Okay. So I want you guys to riff on the ideas, come up with the mechanics, the presentation of the game, and then hit me with your idea, and then I will let you know whether the network will be funding this particular project.
Interesting.
Okay. Do you want me to really ask you all the questions I would ask if someone presented this to me? Or do you want me to just goof off and come up with 3 food games?
I think we just need to come up with 3 different food games. And Dan, what do you say that we kind of re-theme something from the past?
Oh, so we're gonna start with like classic American games here and turn them into
Yeah, I think we can kind of. Is that a little too close to home, or does that work?
No, that's all fine for me. It's funny. I immediately went into work mode. I'm like, well, who's the publisher? What's the licensor? What's the target audience? How many SKUs do you want? What's the price point? Like, I was like, no, shut it off. It's just a game.
I appreciate that you bring so much gravitas and understanding.
So the average Food Network viewer skews female, skews older, probably isn't a core gamer. And I'm just like, stop it.
Old maid it is.
Yeah.
How many can we put, let's see, ice cream flavors on canasta? I don't know.
All right. Well, okay. So let's. All right. So here's our first question we're going to ask ourselves. Do we want these 3 games to be disparate for different audience? Let's just make up 3 goofy games. I'm already line planning. We need 3 different price points. We need 3 different points of entry. We need different player counts. I can't help it. It's my job.
1 in Target, 1 in Barnes and Noble, and 1 in.
No, they'll all be in Barnes and Noble, and they need to have a line look. So we need to make sure that the ones with lower retail have a smaller footprint on the shelf, but they actually look like the larger things, and they tie together. And
so big empty boxes. So
I'm telling you, this is my life.
So what do we think? Let's go to game 1. So do you want to say, let's start off the cheap one, a low cost item?
No,
well, here you went.
We're not going to go with price. All of our games are going to be bespoke. All of our games, we're not going to worry about profitability or price points. We're just going to make great games.
Yeah, I like this thought
because we're living in pretend land.
We're living in pretend land. The Food Network executive in charge of this has set a preposterous budget figure. So you're just gonna go out in a blaze of glory.
We have Guy Fieri Camaro 1969 money, is what you're saying.
There you go.
Yeah, we're going to. So is our first game called Flavor Town? Then is that basically what it is? It's a.
I envision it. The first player marker has to be the the visor with the Guy Fieri hair, though, right?
No, it's just a troll doll of him, right?
Oh,
With
okay.
his, yeah.
Yeah, all right. That might be a little too on the nose,
jeopardizing our executive.
It's a troll doll of Guy Fieri, and the game comes with marijuana edibles.
There you go.
And
it comes in a little hemp bag, right?
Comes in a hemp bag, and it's called Ticket to Flavor Town.
There you go.
And no, okay, we're gonna get off that.
Everything tastes better when you're stoned. It's
okay,
great,
let me reel it in a little bit. So I will allow you guys to bring the classic American game that you want to retheme. I'll let you contribute that, but I'll start you off with the germ here with the dish or ingredient.
So we're doing this. We're doing this like the kitchen.
We're gonna take classic American games.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's do it.
Exactly. So I am. Who was it on Iron Chef? Who was the chairman? The
chairman? Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, the chairman.
I can't scream out the ingredient name in quite the excited way that he did. So
and we're talking original chairman here, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
No,
okay.
Please, of course.
Yes.
So,
I mean, Alton's good and all, but.
It doesn't bring quite the same pizzazz to that single portion. Now, everything else, every other contribution to the show. Okay, so but we will similarly start off, I think, in Asia here. I want to start off with something based on Asian noodle dishes. I'm a ramen yakisoba guy myself, but maybe it's a Chongqing noodle. So you guys, I don't know where your personal tastes for favorite Asian noodle dishes lies, but Food Network needs a game featuring Asian noodles.
All right, so
Morimoto, okay, now we got something to hook her on.
All right, so Morimoto's releasing a new noodle brand that needs a game to go along with it. All right.
Okay.
All right. He has a couple restaurants in Philly, and
yeah, true story.
Yeah. So the question comes, when I think of ramen, I think of my one time, I was in Tokyo twice, but one time and I got up early because of jet lag, and I went to a noodle truck, like a food truck, and it was serving breakfast at 6 a.m. And the people in there were not even the office workers. It was the blue collar workers who were going down and pointing and getting stuff and putting it on. And I watched them to not be the Westerner. Like I could blend in. Like if I just looked at it, I would suddenly pass as a native Tokyo. I don't know what I was thinking.
Right.
And then I went down and I pointed, and they were pointing to things that were like fried animals that aren't allowed in American zoos, like just weird things that I'm like, I don't know, I don't want that. And then they laughed at me because they knew I wasn't going to eat it as a Westerner. But then I slurped my noodles down, standing like in front of a stainless steel countertop with the other workers there. And it's actually the most authentic food experience I've ever had in my life. So I want to base it around that.
So is this more of a kind of like a hot potato, like you don't want it? So is it maybe a card game where you're trying to shed and get rid of things?
It could be. It could be you've got a bunch of ingredients. What makes it a noodle dish? I want to go to Play-Doh and have the extruder, but I think that makes it too much of a gimmick. What if it's like we start with a Sushi Go type game?
Yeah.
But instead of let's do a reverse draft.
Okay.
I'm just saying, usually when you do a pass draft, right? Like
you're building a hand.
You're building a hand. What if you have a hand and you're somehow adding to the things you don't want? I don't know how that works. But it's like
maybe you're trying to make sets with things you don't want, but then you're trying to hold back the actual core recipe that you want to score. So it's kind of like a little gin rummy where you kind of go out at the end and you have the hand you want, and then you have, if you have enough disgusting things in the piles, you can have some set collection down there as well.
Yeah, it could be interesting if you're mixing sort of a passing draft along with gin rummy instead of starting with nothing and building up. What if you started with 5 cards or 6 cards, and at the end you're going to have a 6-card hand plus stuff that you've added or subtracted in there. So you're sort of passing things and getting things and putting things down, and you're trying to sculpt the best hand which is your noodle dish, plus the remainder. So I just like the idea of just having a noodle dish, which is just awful. Like, like how did you end up with peanut butter shrimp? Right? Like that's just not.
That's what the draft gave you, and you didn't shed the peanut butter like you should have because you were holding out. You were holding out for the tie card that gave the.
But now that I say it, I'm like, you could work that, couldn't you? You could do shrimp and a peanut. Yeah, like now that I said it, I'm like, that's good. Just some lemongrass, but you didn't get the lemongrass. You got the marshmallow fluff,
and you did not get the chili oil either. So.
Yeah, you didn't get the chili oil, so you're in a bad place. So I like the idea of a noodle, because a noodle dish I think of as like you've got your base noodles, right, and you're putting the different ingredients, and you get rewarded for certain combinations and penalized for other combinations.
And I like the idea that, you kind of, it's a dual game where you have both a hand and stuff that you're playing out. So it's not like, as you get things you have 7 wonders where you get and then you play 1 and pass, right? And this is a little different because maybe you could play 2 but you hold the rest and then you build your hand, and then I could see it being very interesting.
I think there's something interesting because, like as you said, in 7 Wonders you don't really have a hand, you have like a tableau. You have a hand that you pass and a tableau you're building. We're adding like another phase to this, which is you have something in your hand and you have your tableau, and you can choose to play one thing and maybe that's fine, but if you wait and get a pair, it'll be better. But if you never pair, you might not get the opportunity to play at all. So you're trying to figure out, did I see another soy sauce going around? I didn't see anyone play it, so it might come back to me, but maybe someone's holding it in their hand and I won't. So should I play it now? Like it's adding another place for cards to go.
I like it. And the thing about Sushi, there's a point where you kind of have some things figured out as to what you can pass and what you can't. And I think this gives you that moment a little earlier because it would happen during the course of the game, not necessarily in the course of a hand, not just at the end when everybody plays out. So I think it could be, I think that could be a lot of fun. What do you think? What do you think, Mr. Publisher Dan, and your silly bow tie? What kind of publisher wears ties anyway? Come on.
It's certainly not not untied and
actually, you're quite dapper. Yes.
Yeah, I like the look. I want to tell you my troubles.
Yes,
that's what we're going for. So you've gone on to the exhausted bartender who will gladly listen. So you have no idea really how simple-minded the Food Network executive was, and how close you had to him on the hook with a Play-Doh style noodle extruder. Gold slipped through your fingers there at that point.
Okay, now I know for the next one to just go with gimmick.
Can we get some prices on some wooden scallions, please?
Yeah.
Any stupid reason to incorporate chopsticks as a utterly gratuitous game?
Chopsticks and Play-Doh noodles. That's what we should have been doing.
Missed the boat.
In reality, though, I think this is 100% working. I think this is a good, easy, simple game that will be family friendly. They can pitch to a wide audience here. So. But at the same time, I think it's doing a couple things that are not well represented or overrepresented in the space. Certainly, as much as I love a good draft in a game, it's been beat to death a little bit. So finding a way to switch that up and introduce the hand management plus card play simultaneously that you get in rummy-based games that you don't always see, I think it's got a lot of appeal. And I like the hate aspect of trying to get rid of bad ingredients and make your opponents get stuck with them.
I love that.
All right, but we know next time
Play-Doh.
Gimmick like Play-Doh extruder.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready.
Now, is it a crank extruder or is it the press?
No, it's the press extruder, and noodles come out and they go into a bowl, and then you use chopsticks and you try to pass them to different amounts of people. But if you drop them on the table, you're eliminated.
I like that.
Hear a tired exhaustion in your voice, Rob. That
begs the question: have you done a dexterity game? I know you've done you've done over 70 games, but is there a dexterity game?
I have designed some. I designed one in particular after Hasbro that I couldn't get to work. Probably not. The fact that I can't think of one makes me say no, but I'm trying to think if at Hasbro there was ever a dexterity game that I worked on. I'd say no. No, I haven't. I did come up with a couple game ideas for the Operation brand that were silly, cartoony. I kind of tried to turn him into a Warner Brothers thing because, I mean, you're doing surgery on this guy and he's like, "Ah," but he's not dead. So I'm like, this is Bugs Bunny is what this is. And so I came up with a bunch of good ones. And then Hasbro was like, nah, we're not doing that for Operation. They didn't like the ideas. They just didn't want to turn Operation into a line. So they went away. So I have some up here that I could tap into.
Interesting. I will await that one. I think that'll be a lot of fun. You're just waiting
okay.
Ramen noodles it is. All right, Dano.
All right. Ingredient number 2 here. We've talked a bit about American Southwest cuisine in the past. Now, I am not the chef that you guys are, but I have a outsized affection for poblano chilies, and would love to see what you guys can do. Now, feel free, if that's too specific and restrictive here, feel free to go as far as you want with chilies, period, and everything the Southwest has to offer. But that's the one that's near to my heart.
Have you? I have to ask Dan. Have you ever had a Hatch chili?
I don't know that I know what a Hatch chili is.
So
it's a New Mexican.
Yeah, and
isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's very limited in when it comes out. It tends to come out around the fall. It's a little warmer than a poblano, and it is. It's like I love a poblano for what it brings, but the Hatch is just kind of like it brings that, and then a little bit more. Just brings a little more.
Yeah, no, Hatch chili. I'm trying to think it's like a poblano chili that got introduced to a warm fireplace or something a little bit. Like it just has a little earthiness to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that little something. You could still stuff it. You could still do a lot of great things with it.
Yeah.
So good. One of the restaurant chains I worked for, we used to do a Hatch Chili Festival every year. And so good. So good. All right. Well, anyway.
So here we go. Feel free.
Okay, I got an idea. I got this whole game. Yeah, because we were talking about Hatch chilies and I designed it. When I think about chilies, I think about one thing: press your luck. You got the different Scoville units. You've got the different heat things. And the question is, are you willing? The person who eats the hottest chili without busting, right, is the person who wins. And we just got to turn that into a cheap gimmick that he'll buy because he likes the Play-Doh extruder. So I thought of some sort of plastic device. It kind of looks like a little kid's piano or xylophone where you're putting different chilies face down. And the plastic device knows the different heat level. And what you have to do is, and I haven't quite figured out some of the details of like why it's not just a guessing game, but it's a starting point, is you put your finger in it. And if it snaps down on your finger, it's been too hot and you get bitten. So it's like somehow you're just trying to find the hottest one without being the very hottest. But anyway, it's a press your luck game where you get your finger snapped, because we're not going to actually ask people to eat ghost peppers in the game. That's my starting point.
So I like the lay it down. So we're kind of doing like something with RFID, like drop it, mate, like drop mix, right?
Drop mix, yeah.
So the cards, but what if instead of a snap, it was kind of like a mild electric shock, like those other little games, and it varies based on the level of pepper.
Right. I will never play it because I hate getting electric shocks. But in the conceptual world of make believe,
kids love it.
I love the idea of giving electric shots up to the point of like if you hit the ghost pepper, like mild pants sweating, like just that little bit that you're like
no incontinence, nothing like that, but
just like a little bit, just for like a second from the electrical shock, like no permanent damage.
No. I mean,
you just lose control for a second.
Yeah, now this might be more of the Spencer's gift toy than it would be like, say, Target, but I think, I could see this kind of deck, and it kind of has the different peppers on it.
I mean, the problem we need to solve is, how is it, if it's randomly shuffled, how is it not a guessing game? How is it not just like I lose or I win, right? Like there has to be, honestly, with press your luck, you need to know you're starting safe, but you don't know what the next one is going to be. So the cards might need to be color coded a little bit of like mild, medium, and hot. And so you can you need to make a semi-informed decision to do press your luck. It can't be like you just guess poorly. So we got to work out some kinks, but that we'll work that out in playtesting and development.
Well,
we have to solve that now for the pitch.
Well, a die would determine what deck you draw from. Maybe the small, medium, large, and it makes your hand, and you only get to see the back sides of the cards, which would have the temperature on it, but everybody else can see the front side. So maybe they're egging you on. Like
and right, and so you could decide to eat another one, but maybe you roll the die and it tells you what flavor you have to eat or something, so you don't know exactly. Yeah, there's something there, but I love the Hanabi style of the other people can see, and then
so they got to be goading you on. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I also like Welcome to the Dungeon. I don't know if either of you have played that, which is a similar pressure. Like you seed the deck in the first phase of the game, and then you play through it. So you would have some control over how much danger there is in there, but then the order it comes out in is what will ultimately decide how quickly you're going to go.
I think the peer pressure is the important piece of this.
It does fit very nicely with the peppery.
I mean,
I think when you're doing peppers,
stop. When you're playing Can't Stop, you need everybody egging you. One more, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Why didn't you stop? Don't you understand? Yeah, no, this is can't feel my mouth anymore.
Right.
But I think a combination of pressure luck.
Yeah.
Peer pressure. I love the other people having information that you can't feel. And we can decide, is it an electric shock? Do we actually cut you a little bit? Just a mild neurotoxin that makes part of your body numb. The details can be worked out.
You get a needle at the one. Yeah. It's just kind of...
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So at this point, the legal department happened to overhear the conversation, and one of the gentlemen there had to come over and whisper in my ear a bit and decide that we are not going to be able to fund this game.
I think they're missing the boat.
Hey, look, listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. You pay lawyers to say no. But Steve Jobs didn't listen to him. Why are you listening to him?
Exactly.
You make the game that you want to make in here. Do you love peppers? Bring your love of peppers to everyone else. Lawyers give advice. They don't give restrictions. You go with this game.
The iPod did not feature a mild neurotoxin, however. So
I would beg to differ. I think it went right in your ear holes.
Yeah, I don't know. Steve Jobs might have said, listen to all his lawyers. I was just going on a rant to try to tell my piece.
Who's going to refute you now?
Yeah, I know. I just discovered if you say something loud and dramatically enough and you're like middle-aged man, like you just get away
not wearing
with
a black turtleneck. You can't tell me what to do.
It's fine.
So I wanted to go ahead and just arbitrarily.
I kind of like this game. There's part of the Hanabi play cards down, everybody ganging up on you, trying to shock you. I kind of like it, actually.
So that's the thing. Okay, that's the fantasy is you start working on a pitch for a game. And you can fall in love with any pitch. The number of games where I'm like, we should make this. We're joking around, but this is good. Then you start putting cards down and playing it, and you go, no, there's no real idea here. Like, what are we doing? And then going from here to fun playable prototype is a big chasm to jump. And
but this is the fun part. Let's admit that.
This is the fun part because it's not broken. No. Everything's great. Let's just make this.
It's great. It's not even index card paper at this point that we're wasting.
No, it's great. I'm going to start looking for illustrators right now. Yeah. I got illustrators. We're ready to go. I put in a quote to a manufacturer. Let's make this.
I can download copyrighted artwork all day long. I'm good for it.
We're fine. Yeah.
So I wanted to be arbitrary and fickle here and go ahead and punish you for catering to my previous child's toy gimmick here, but unfortunately you went with the little finger snapping thing, which is probably my youngest child's absolute favorite game these days. So you found a way. You might have been spying on me a little bit to figure out exactly what was going to get me back on the hook. Yes, the Food Network is very skeptical about the prospects for this game, but I think there's a lot of appeal here. So I think we'll probably have to shop that around to another publisher. But I think
I'll be honest with you. This is the game I wanted Scoville to be. I'm not gonna lie. There is no risk in Scoville unless you're dipping the peppers in pure capsaicin and different levels and then have to lick them. It's just kind of
oh god,
I lost something.
I'm from New England, so like I'm like I love peppers and Southwest food, and then I get anything even moderate. I'm just I don't like this anymore.
Sweating.
That is actually.
I just get the hiccups. It's horrible. It's like I like spicy food, but I hit this level as soon as I get the hiccups. Done.
I'm right there with you.
I always like I'll bake some like this is a little spicy, and I go for a guy from New England.
There you go.
It's not spicy at all.
I don't even like my clam chowder with tomato in it. That's how unspicy I like things. And you're right, by the way. New England clam chowder over Manhattan any day of the week. But.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just trying to think of how tomatoes are spicy.
Acidic, but not spicy.
Acidic, yeah.
Yeah, acidic opens up the pores, which allows the spicy in. But that's
So I thought we had a segue there into going from vulnerability to spice right into the third style of food here, because I want to come back to the butter chicken we were discussing earlier, and we need a game based on Indian cuisine, which will set a new bar for how hot things can go. But you don't have to. I think we've exhausted maybe flirting with the danger of spice, and probably need to go in another direction here.
That's fine. We're going to go with a dexterity game called None Shall Pass, and you're going to be throwing around a fake piece of bread.
No.
I'm in for 2. I want the retailer pack for my personal
now I need
supply.
to throw a card because this show's over. Did you not? Does our pre-show material not include a warning about a strict no pun policy? We've already got Hillier.
I don't know what show you're watching, Dan, but
come on! I just pulled that out of nowhere. I want some credit for that.
That's amazing. I can give Patrick the week off. That's how good that one was.
See, game time is supposed to be when the viewer can feel safe. From this.
No.
I'm still laughing at my dumb joke that involved Gandalf. You're all wizards throwing around Indian bread. Like, it's great.
I love it. I love it. The Balrog has nothing on a little Kashmiri coming at his face. It's awesome.
I have ruined your game.
But believe me.
No, you know what though? There's part of me. There's part of me that's seeing a tower of something in the middle, and you throwing little rubber naan at it now.
Okay, I'm sorry. We can go in a different direction. Do you want like a Uwe
No, run with it. Believe me.
Sort of thing.
The viewer comments will represent that I am in the minority on this one. So at this one,
both of them.
A Rotten Tomatoes deal here. The critic score is going to be a 0 in this one, but you guys are playing now for the viewer score. So.
No, it's
all right. So it's not none shall pass.
I love it.
It's a hot potato where you don't want to end up with the. They're all naan is delicious. There's no bad kind of naan.
That's true.
You know what? I would almost argue though, plain naan. I'm kind of.
No.
I need naan with flavor.
It's got butter. It's got. Hold on. It's got butter and cilantro in it. So it's not plain.
Sometimes, but here you go.
Sure. If it was.
So you go to different places and you get different things. Like I asked for Kashmiri, I asked for Pajwari. Basically, I want sweet naan. Have you ever had like a good sweet naan with the raisins and?
No, I'm sure it's delicious, but I mean, naan is really just a spoon for the stuff that you're getting if you don't want rice. I think about it. I mean, that culture of cook over a fire pit and use your flatbread as a spoon.
Yeah.
And then you eat
choose your carbs wisely, but I'll take those every time. All right. No,
are we going with non shall pass, or are we just letting the bad pun sit there?
Well, I'll be honest with you. See, I'm going to go a little meta, and I have a feeling that this guy wants nothing to do with dry, tasteless Euro because he's more of an Ameritrash. I want to get it on Target shelves kind of guy.
Wants to get on Target shelves? Okay. So we basically take America's love for pizza, but we completely abuse it and manipulate it and apply it to naan.
Because naans are the cheapest pizza shells you can get and easiest, right?
They're good. Yeah.
Yeah, they work.
We do. I don't know. I'm running out of ideas.
It's. I don't know. Do we need to land on a certain thing? I think we need to toss it. I think it needs. I don't think we do that, though, right? Because
it's non-show pass,
the oven.
and it's like cornhole, but you're throwing it onto, the oven, and you're trying to get the naan to land on. It's basically just like a disc toss. It's an outdoor game. It's an outdoor game.
But it can't get too close to the fire because then it's almost like you need to get it in the sweet spot. Like cornhole, for instance, you don't want to get it in the hole because that's the fire, and that's actually a bad thing. You want to get really
so we
close.
do something like the rest of it is it's like a serving platter. You want to get the naan onto the platter, but not right back into the tandoori oven because then it'll burn.
Exactly, because that's what you do. I think that's gold, Dan. I think you need to print that. And the naan need to be a little floppy, a little rubbery.
Yeah, it's like a floppy, rubberized silicone sort of thing that's got little, printed with the char spots on it.
You might need to call that toy company again to prototype this.
Yeah, you spent 9 months chasing the perfect model for the way the marbles were going to roll down. Wait till you spend a full year trying to get the perfect rubberized naan.
Okay.
Every minute was not worth it.
I know I'm goofing around, but I swear at Hasbro that non-show pass idea would have gone to sketch. We're gonna.
And you call the model guy up and you say, "Hey,"
and you call the guy like, "Look, I need a frisbee, and it's going to be called non-show pass, and we're doing it for the if we were doing honestly a Food Network license, that would be that amount of depth would be in there, which I don't say as a criticism. Like that's the thing that Food Network would want from a Hasbro, or at least plausibly." And then the Food Network people we take food seriously.
So interesting thing is, I did homework when we did our interview, and one of the things I thought was really interesting was you did a talk where you put up this graph and you said, this is complexity, this is ease of play and rules, and you kind of charted things, and you said, mainstream games used to live in the middle area where, you could learn it. It might be on the back of a box, but you could learn it. It might take a little bit of effort, but you could play it. And then computer games and iPhone specifically, you called out, came along and kind of killed that and said the casual games are now digital and, we're going to play them all digitally. And then so mass market kind of went all the way down to the bottom and said, we're just going to make the easiest game to learn and not put that much effort into it. And I think that's where we're batting right now. I think that's...
Yeah, it is. I'm really glad that you pointed out that I gave this talk, because about 2 weeks ago, I kind of half remembered this idea and said, I had this idea about complexity in phones, and I don't think I ever wrote it down. I gave a talk and I can go find it online. So, because I couldn't remember exactly what I said about it. That just shows you I may be a little overworked. Something I thought was a half idea. I gave a talk one time. No, I agree. It's a whole other topic and it's not part of this this gaming pitch, but the role of mass market games and simplicity and complexity and ease of learning and how digital stuff changed that. And it's a talk. I give it.
So, but I also can see the digital version of this where you flick the naan on your phone. So I think it has crossover potential.
Oh yeah, it has crossover appeal. Yeah. We're gonna do it. We're gonna start leagues. It's gonna be casual play. We're gonna be bigger than Fortnite.
It could be little cut the rope style, shoot the naan.
Sure, we're gonna cross promote it. We're gonna hook up with the Ultimate Frisbee League, and we're gonna put our branding of non-show pass, and we're gonna get some ESPN2 tie-ins and stuff like that. It's gonna be full synergistic marketing effort.
As long as we don't call that guy who had to cover the Monopoly tournament on ESPN once. Woof, color commentary was rough. Oof.
Stop it! You're doing too much homework at this point. Don't tell me you found that footage. I don't think that footage exists.
Didn't find the footage. I found everything else, but no.
Yeah, okay. I did an okay job of doing live color commentary for a Monopoly tournament, considering that's not my wheelhouse. No. I watch a lot of baseball, and I'm like, I know how to do play-by-play.
Yeah, you know how to fill that void and batting average, and that's why stats are important, because you need something to talk about in between.
I recognize baseball is very boring for most people, and sometimes it's very boring for me. But as a person who likes board games and can watch and play, people for an hour and a half, kind of take 9 turns around a board, Baseball just scratches that same itch.
I like baseball in person, but not on TV.
It's great background. I watched it today while I was working, and it's just I can tune in, I can tune
Yeah, but
out.
you have
It's
the
sort of
socks.
like having.
I mean,
Yeah, they're
it's not fair. You have socks and the bats.
They're 3-8 right now on the season, so mathematically they put themselves in a big hole. So this season could be over real fast.
All right, it's only like they have 108 games to play.
No, they have 151 left.
So Dan, you never gave us the verdict. Actually, I think we were interrupting you and diverting and doing everything.
I think he's stunned. I'm surprised he didn't just. I'm surprised he didn't just leave.
No, I'm
where was
actually
this
trying.
Last week, guys.
I'm looking out for you guys, and I'm trying to secure the legal rights here because what's going to happen is this is all fun and games, but someone 15 years from now is going to publish None Shall Pass, and it's going to be a big.
Oh yeah,
and you guys are going to be like.
30 years from now, I'll restore it.
There you go.
You're playing the long game.
Yeah.
No, actually, I did give you your score. You're mistaken. We had a disqualified for puns on Non Shall Pass. We had a vetoed.
I don't know what show you watch.
Vetoed by the legal department for our chili press your luck game, and a full buy-in on our exciting hate reverse draft, gin rummy hand management ramen based game. So,
which also just for the record probably happens to be the cheapest game to produce, and probably offers the highest margin. So I think we know where this goes.
Oh, see, you're picking up on
yeah.
on how this.
I mean, what's 2 decks of cards between friends, right?
About $1.
Which means it's $8. I don't know, Dan. I don't know. You're rough.
Don't worry.
You know what? I actually agree with all your assessments. These ideas were terrible, and I enjoyed doing it. So thank you.
I'm glad we gave you a opportunity to be utterly impractical.
Yes.
And keep this as far from being like work as we could.
Yeah. Once I got out of the work mode, it was all good.
There you go. No demographics. Nothing.
Yeah. No budgets. No forecasts. No approvals. No restrictions. No parameters on shelf size, carton size. It's great.
It's awesome. And who knows? I mean, you could even make a game called like Dude, and somebody might buy it. I mean,
Dude. A lot of people have played Dude.
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 You in the closet with a knife? Dude.
Yeah. So, have
There's
not played it. Have been next to a table playing it and enjoyed it tremendously from that point.
You pretty much got the full experience, I think.
Yeah. If you're not a surfer, I don't think you get it. But all right,
it was all good.
We abided. I appreciate you coming on and putting your design chops to work for somebody who has no say in anything whatsoever. Because that was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. I hope you did too.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed it. All
Excellent.
Right.
So where can people find you, Mr. Daviau? Because, maybe they didn't watch last week. You should go back and watch last week. Where could they find you?
Go back and watch last week.
I know.
You can find me at robdaviau.com. You can find me at restorationgames.com. That you don't really find me there. They're websites. I think you know how the internet works. But you can find me on a more direct basis at Rob Daviau, which is ROBDAVIAU. That is my Twitter handle, and I post there semi-frequently.
There you go. So this has been a lot of fun. Dan, thanks for bringing that one. That was pretty cool. And thank you at home for watching. And be sure you have fun the next time you have your game time.